The MC of this story is named Gu Yang-chun, and he was once a brilliant swordsman from a noble family, but he fell in with a bad crowd and ended up becoming a lowly soldier in the army of the Heavenly Demon. Now he sits defeated before the strongest swordswoman of light. Pointing her sword at his pathetic state, she insists on an answer. The guy is in a dreadful position, and goes on to reflect about the irony of his life, how the woman before him ended up as the Sovereign Sword's direct disciple. She is the same woman who utterly annihilated hundreds of demonic martial artists through her unmatched sword. In fact, this very same woman is the greatest martial artist the world has ever seen, and the odds of this guy running into her are shitty, because she's the same cold-blooded warrior who defeated the Heavenly Demon with her sword. Keep in mind, the Heavenly Demon began this hellish war between both sides, and it only ended because the warrior's blade pierced through the Heavenly Demon, finishing her off with a final slash. Meet the Heavenly Sword, Seola, who is out here shouting at the bastard who is refusing to answer her questions. The Divine Warrior is pissed that Yang-chan is still holding on to the information about the demon's hideout. An expression of regret and anger takes over her as she reminds the young man of the humanity he once had. But of course, even if he wanted to talk, this guy couldn't even say a single word. Why? Because the dude ended up getting the Jiraiya treatment from Naruto. His throat was crushed. Not to mention the very heart that's beating inside of him is marked with a terrifying curse. With every breath, the seal is making him live through hell, and also prevents him from revealing secret information. A tear trickles down the woman's face. The same warrior who had downed an entire army as well as the Heavenly Demon on her own is currently weeping in front of a half-dead man. She's practically begging the guy to just give a satisfying answer so that Seola can help him stay alive. I should point out that she doesn't know about his seal or curse, so she's thinking he's concealing information. Her fidgeting body and tear-filled expression, a sorrowful state of her begging, is actually a unique sight for the young man, who begins to wonder if she really hates the demonic martial artists that much. Maybe it's because of her fiancé, Sun Jung, who ended up getting kidnapped, which is why she's probably desperate. But the situation makes him let out a slight laugh, reflecting how the strongest woman in the entire world was currently wavering because of a love interest. His reaction causes her to get infuriated, as Seola tosses his ass to the ground like a football. At this point, she is fully provoked, despite her trembling state. She thinks the guy is being uncooperative for a reason, and regrets not killing him sooner. Her words linger inside his mind, as he begins to question when was the first time they encountered each other. From his memories, they met at a marketplace. Both were little children, and she was the first to approach him and offer him a potato. That beautiful little relationship resulted in such a twisted, dark turn, as this guy became a traitor who betrayed his own damn people to pursue the path of a demonic martial artist. It's clear as day that he's only got himself to blame in this situation. Though of course, even now, Seola's barely able to hold herself together while walking away. When suddenly she turns around to see the guy crawling and scribbling something on the ground. Confused, she questions what Yang-chan is doing in his state. Unfortunately, because he chose to reveal information, the seal took a heavy strain on his body, resulting in him vomiting a crap ton of blood. But even then, Yang-chan takes it like a champ and continues to scribble with his own blood, recalling that if he goes against the contract placed on his heart, it will implode and destroy his body. And that's exactly what happens. This dude literally had his heart annihilated as a consequence of betraying the demonic temple. The muffled voice of his long-lost friend is heard in the background, but it's too late. He's lost too much blood and can't even hear her. The beautiful thing about this is the fact that she's already caught on to his condition and is begging him to stop, but he still goes on. The only regret in Yang-chan's life is that he couldn't reveal the truth. He didn't actually betray the clan on purpose, but was tricked and forced into it. But that doesn't matter anymore, does it? And even Yang-chan takes it like a champ and accepts that it's still his fault as he finishes his scribbling. This is his final service to his friend, revealing critical information of the demon's hideout to Seola. But then, the effects of the seal cause an agonizing outburst and wreck his organs from the inside. In his final moments, Yang-chan ponders why things had to end this way. He remembers a sequence of him being helpless in front of his dying sister, who wished him a good life. Seola's voice screams into the alley where he can no longer hear her. Instead, Yang-chan is overwhelmed with the kind of regrets he led up to in his pointless existence. Another sequence comes fresh into his memory when Yang-chan finds a woman clinging to the edge of her life. She felt sorry for him, while he could only stare at her with a look of regret and sadness. Seola's voice roars loud, proclaiming his name again and again as her tears drip down onto his face. Finally, Yang-chan recalls the sequence of another loss he experienced. The white-haired woman rested in his grasp, murmuring to ask if he was crying. But Yang-chan always kept a tough exterior and told her that it's just the rain. Her final words were a request to know about the moon. In her dying words, she found herself relieved, and eventually her existence faded because of the gash she endured in her abdomen. The same Yang Qion, who was once a member of House Ku of Sanseo, a house that was known for being virtuous and righteous, ended up becoming the worst traitor and became a demonic martial artist. And now, his fleeting existence mattered little as he was going to die as a consequence of the war after his defeat. That is supposed to be the penultimate ending to his life, and it's exactly as miserable as it sounds. As he closes his eyes, Siola's voice actually starts becoming clear in his mind. But there's a catch this time. It's the same little girl asking if he wants a potato. Yang Chion's eyes widened with shock as he appeared standing in the same marketplace on that fateful day, not knowing how he'd return to the past. Our boy stands absolutely clueless, recalling how he gruesomely experienced his death after breaking the forbidden seal. I mean, bro's heart literally burst open. There's no coming back from that one. His final memory was him being in Siola's grasp as he was shouting his name. But now, he could feel the heartbeat coursing through his body like it never even happened. Not to mention his midget body, as he'd become much shorter and younger. It's as if he was daydreaming about the past, and Siola's past self stood there just staring at him in confusion. Yang Chun tries his best to recall the exact words he told her in his original life. Slapping the potato off of her hand, he shocked the girl as he stomped on it, showing a clear sign of his offense. Yang Chun didn't take pity on the girl's gesture and ridiculed her in front of everybody. Anyway, that happened in his original life. But this time, he doesn't hope to make the same regretful choice. Letting out a small laugh, he thinks it's time he made up and actually takes the potato from her grasp, even going as far as to thank the girl. Bro was trying to appear so Sigma in front of her, but the moment he took a bite out of the hot potato, he burned his damn mouth. Yang Chun finds it ridiculous how a dream can stun him with a strong sensation. Seeing him struggle with a mere potato, she laughs at him for burning his tongue. While Yang Chun is stunned, a servant of the House Ku of Sanseo comes rushing to find him. Apparently the young boy disappeared off on his own, worrying this guy greatly. He's supposed to be Yang Chun's personal guard, Muyon. Unfortunately, our boy can't even speak properly because of his burnt tongue, to the point his guard assumes that the girl must have tried to harm the young master and nearly pulled his damn blade. It's hilarious how this dude is basically ready to unalive a girl. But Yang Chun requests to handle this in his own way, and requests to have the yakwa. Apparently there's one last one left, so he takes it from Muyon and actually offers it to Siola, much to both of their shock. The boy simply wanted to return the gesture for Siola offering him a steaming potato. Seeing the delicious-looking yakwa before her eyes, her mouth waters, and her eyes glistened. She's always wanted to try it, but suddenly Siola turns away to meet her grandfather, who comes rushing to check on the little girl. Wow, these kids really love being lost. Anyway, he scolds her for going off on her own, but Siola's okay since she got the potatoes in the end. Her grandpa is really kind and worried if she got hurt somewhere. But just seeing the guy in person puts Yang Chun in a daze. When the girl expresses that she gave a potato to the young boy, her grandpa showed a forceful reaction by pulling her back and actually showed great respect by bowing to the young master of the great house. But our boy tells him that it's nothing to worry about as the girl merely offered him a nice snack. Yang Chun shows proper respect and consideration by praising the food and even offers a yakwa in return. Initially, Siola's grandpa is contemplative, but the little girl jumps in joy and wants to grab it immediately. But the poor girl is absolutely devastated when her grandpa drags her the heck away, believing it would be dishonorable to accept such a delicious snack from the young master. But bro is not giving up because he stops the old geezer, even showing consideration to the little girl and personally handing her the snack. Siola's eyes are literally beaming with joy, and her grandpa is speechless. But from this interaction alone, Siola's ambiguously concludes that they've found what they were looking for. The two-part after that interaction while Yang Chun goes into a state of reminiscing, recalling that this old geezer was actually the head of the Murim Alliance, so he's not a joke. He once sat at the top of the martial world as the strongest ever, and was single-handedly the most feared man from the demonic path. The original sovereign sword, Hyogenwi, but he can't put together why this man would be here at all. It's as if Yang Chun's life is flashing before his eyes. He spots the beautiful girl bidding him farewell with her kind eyes. The two parties turn the opposite direction to return home. Now that Yang Chun's life has already ended, he no longer has any regrets and thinks it's a good time for him to conclude this dream of his. But for some reason, the damn dream doesn't even end after he reaches his family estate. It's been far too long. At this point, Yang Chun is starting to wonder if this is some kind of final curse bestowed by the heavenly demon as a last resort. There's a lot he doesn't know about, until he suddenly hears a girl's voice, walking up to him and expressing her surprise to see her brother returning home. Meet the Scarlet Fire Sword Yeonsu Ku, Yang Chun's second older sister and the one person who hates him the most in the world. Basically, she's a bitch. Also, he reflects his surprise that his father's returning home today, while Yeonsu continues to tease him, talking him down for being a troublemaker who's going to pull another lame stunt again. But dude doesn't have time to give to an attention seeker and states that he's here because he should be. So she berates him for never showing up in the past. But instead of getting offended, Youngchun shows maturity by stating he will apologize to his father. Now that is the definition of character development. He actually wants to change his life even with the smallest moments. Anyway, that pisses Yeonsu off a shit ton as she roars his damn name and channels her beaming rage to step up to him. Accusing him for plotting some kind of trick, she openly tells him how much he pisses her off. Bro cuts her little wimping session and points out that their father has arrived. And I should tell you that this entrance is straight up cold. That's how you know Youngchun's papa means serious business. Their father, who basically looks like Musashi over here, is pretty surprised to see his son greeting him so forwardly. He turns his attention to Chief Steward, asking if his sword squads are all prepared. Turns out the first sword squad has already returned from battle while the fourth squad is prepared to leave whenever needed. So he signals to his chief to prepare the fourth squad and find him as soon as possible. Now let's talk about Youngchun's perspective, who finds himself completely paralyzed underneath his father's overwhelming gaze. The housemaster leaves a final regard for the boy, requesting to come find him after his meal. Youngchun is pretty damn shocked to hear that and asks Muyan for a digestive pill because of how intimidating that was. Skipping ahead to the time of his meal, Youngchun recalls the terrible taste of the food. It's the same as ever and he's genuinely terrified to see his father. The anxiety is so bad that he's hoping something will interrupt the meeting. The housemaster speaks over their meal, asking Yeonsu if she's progressed in her martial arts ability. She is very happy to confirm that she's reached the third ring only a few days ago, which is quite impressive compared to the other children her age. So he tells her to work even harder. Now Youngchun actually agrees with his father's words, internalizing how reaching the third ring is pretty damn impressive for a child. Yeonsu has always been the talented type, so a bit of hard work results in wonders. But most impressively, he's shocked to see the little girl smiling, when unusually she has a damn resting bitch face. Which is funny because as soon as he thinks of that, she looks at him with a murderous glare. When his father finally addresses his third child, Youngchun, bro flinches from his spot. He heard the report from Muyan about the boy heading out to the market. The young boy confirms, causing his father to stand up and express his urgent leave. This surprises the boy because he was clearly expecting Musashi over here to actually say something. Well, Youngchun chalks it off to his father's earlier demand of meeting the boy in his office. But even that is postponed as one of the maids comes to inform him that their meeting is scheduled until tomorrow instead. Again, Youngchun is pretty astonished. That night while in his room, he's surprised that he hasn't woken up from this wild dream of his. At this point, he's also questioning if a potential time travel or a regression has taken place. But that realization comes with the added anger and a chance for him to potentially kill the heavenly demon before things get bad. That thought is enticing at first, but Youngchun still believes he's having a dream, so there would be no point. Then there's the fact that he can't take on the same heavenly demon who was responsible for annihilating 3 sovereigns by herself. It reminds him of the day he surrendered before her just to live another day, and ended up having to endure living a life of becoming a demonic martial artist. Youngchun's regret weighs down on his conscience. His life is one that is the definition of living with immense regret. That's the only emotion that overwhelms and burdens him. But at the same time, he'd always thought to himself that if Youngchun was ever given a second chance, he would definitely do whatever it takes to live differently. Knowing the eventual future of Seola defeating the heavenly demon as well as the demon temple, he thinks his best shot of living a good life is to hide and play the long game of survival. Knowing that this kind of chance won't come again, Youngchun vows not to fail a second time and to prevent his life of regrets from surfacing again. Channeling his energy throughout his body's core, Youngchun is a bit disappointed that he can't do anything beyond a small grasp of internal energy. But his sister? You guys saw how Yeonsu was engulfed in flames, right? That's the difference between an ordinary person and a prodigy like her, who has achieved the third ring already. Still, even having this much internal energy is enough for the boy, believing that the generational cultivation technique of the house should be more than enough. The art of the 9-flame blaze wheel is his best shot of nurturing his body, and once he reaches the 4th ring, he'll also be able to showcase a bright flame of internal energy. And right after reaching the 7th ring like his father, his body will be thriving with this life-changing power. But as things stand right now, bro is at the dead bottom of the 1st ring. That's why he wants to gather as much energy as quickly as possible to reach the 2nd ring. Add that to the fact that he can't even equip his powers of the demonic arts to help aid this journey. This time, he has to rely on himself and his family's martial arts. In a state of meditation, he concentrates all of his energy into his core. But that comes with an added drawback of siphoning his body, completely draining him at his current level. Youngchun can barely do anything with the skills he's got at the moment. Forcing his way isn't an option either, because it will result in something called chi deviation. However, the one good thing to have come out of this mess is that he's gained an understanding of the second ring, and he's edging really close to tapping into it. Yang Chan intends to keep at this level and hammer his way to make new breakthroughs, differently from his past life. At the same time, he has to be cautious and ensure that things don't go off track from the original timeline. Morning quickly comes around and the dude is still out of commission, unable to sleep because of his agonizing bodily pain. It's his fault for not taking his training seriously throughout his childhood. Preparing himself, he plans to visit his father later. But when he opens the door, he's surprised to find the same little girl from before greeting him hello. Let's take a little detour and explore what happened on one fateful day. A crack appeared in the skies as the people began to question if what they saw was a star or something else. Suddenly, a demonic eye popped out from the crumbled space and tore its way through. That was the day the demons invaded their realm. And these weren't just any demons. They were ruthless and wrecked the planet. The dimension where they spawned from is called the Gate of the Demonic Realm. Now, every single clan decided to counter the demons by creating a special force. These special forces or squads were known as the Sword Squads, and every known clan had one. But the Great Ku family actually has 5. The eldest sister of the siblings, Hebe Ku, is actually the head of the 5 commanding squads. And because he's widely known as the brat who constantly stirs trouble in his clan, he trained under her for 6 months in the original timeline. That was actually when he ran into Seola, who adopted a blank, almost frowning expression at the time. They were supposed to meet 6 months later, but because of the way he treated the young girl, somehow she ended up at his doorstep the next day. Bro is done with the day already and goes back inside, but she pulls on his shirt, stopping him and hoping for them to get along well with each other. But before the poor girl could express her words properly, his grandpa swatted her hand off, calling his grandchild a brat for carelessly touching the young master without permission. Yang Cheon doesn't know what to say as Seola apologizes to him. He's still surprised by the purpose of their visit or why her grandpa is here. To his absolute shock, the man tells him that from now on, he will be serving Yang Cheon according to the orders of the clan head. The fact that this guy introduced himself as Manhwa and not Hyogunwi is a bit startling to our boy. As for Seola, she's also tasked to serve him alongside her grandpa, but things are progressing way too fast for him to understand what's going on. Letting out a sigh, he's certain that his father is responsible for doing something like this. He shares his gratitude, but ultimately thinks his life is fucked from the get-go already. Also, he doesn't really like being addressed formally, so he'd rather they call him by his name. But the old geezer doesn't listen to that either. Later that same day, the old man is dusting the place clean while Yang Cheon sees him doing his task with content. He's got no clue what's up and turns his attention to Seola. This little bold girl wants to impress him and carries a bundle of laundry all on her own. Even the other maids show her kindness and request her to share some of the burden, but Seola vows to do it alone. Unfortunately, her bright confidence eats dust when she stumbles across a rock and tumbles down with a heavy crash. That faceplant has got to hurt with the way she fell. Even the laundry basket ended up on her head as she began to weep in disappointment. Seeing her in this state, Yang Chun thinks she's truly one of a kind for being bad at everything she does. His real talent lies in martial arts, so he doesn't get why she has such little control over her body. The current state of events is making his head hurt, while the sad Seola walks up to him, still cutely wearing the basket on her head, promising to follow him wherever he goes. Or at least, that was the order she received from her grandpa. This actually means that the boy's personal and real servant is Seola instead of the old geezer, but it's almost like the other maids pulled a scheme and trapped her with such a duty. Being the son of an incredible family, the boy doesn't know if it's nice to choose a servant of his own volition. Apart from her being Seola herself, there's also the fact that her grandpa, the Sovereign Sword, is going to be monitoring him in close proximity. She tries to tidy up his robe, but even that is a depressing mess of wrinkles. Bro crushes her confidence by doing it on her own, and begins to wonder if the clan head even knows about the Sovereign Sword's identity. Knowing that he has to go and meet his dad, Yang Cheon thinks he'll come to find his answers soon enough. While he's leaving, Seola catches up to him, but he shuts her down, stating that she should finish up her work here. The remark makes her genuinely cry, and it's noticed by her grandpa too. Anyway, Yang Cheon leaves, and shows a bit of his softness for Seola when he promises to return with Yakwas if she does her duties well. That little comment alone makes her flutter with joy. The perspective shifts to Yang Cheon, who stands before his father's office, getting anxious just standing outside. He's scared of what will happen and wonders if he should ask about Hyogun and Seola instead. Bro's approach ends up in the gutter when the clan head pops from behind and scares the living crap out of him. He's told to go inside, and regrets immensely that he loudly swore in front of his own father. Yang Cheon is seriously questioning how he didn't die of a heart attack at that moment. They begin the conversation by discussing his new servants. The boy is grateful to receive them, but he doesn't know the reason why. His father refuses to elaborate on the reason and believes his son will come to know eventually. This isn't good, because Yang Chon now understands that his father probably knows about the sovereign sword, but the purpose is kept ambiguous. Instead, the clan head recommends that the boy prepare for the 9-Dragon Council that's due tomorrow. Though Yang Chon complies, he has trouble remembering what the purpose of the council was. Suddenly, the little dude reaches an enlightenment, this time horrified to remember the council's name. Yang Chon thinks even death would be more acceptable at this point, while Muyan, his personal guard, questions if he truly doesn't want to participate in the council. Let's explore the concept of this unique council. It's supposed to honor the original sword squads who worked tirelessly hard to guard the demonic realm, risking their lives for the people of Sanseo. It's held twice a year to commemorate their efforts, and it's also a recruitment event to help bring in new members into the sword squads. And as he's the member of the main family itself, he has to attend the council. But bro just doesn't want to go, ordering Muyan to behead him immediately. But even the personal guard thinks his father will probably kill Yang Chon a second time if he refuses to go. Then there's the fact that the second elder is hosting the council this time, and he also promised to beat the shit out of Yang Chon if he refuses to participate in this council. The situation got so much worse than he expected. The second elder is a damn annoying geezer who has always treated him harshly ever since he was a child. Then again, the kid is a troublemaker, so it makes sense. Anyway, he entrusted the boy and had high expectations for him to act befitting of the great family household. In some ways, Yang Chon is grateful to the old man, but at the same time, he is afraid of him because of his unending training sessions and handing him a mountain of chores. But it's actually endearing because the second elder always looked after the boy even when the clan head ignored him. It's a miracle that he turned out the way he did in his original life, even after the training he endured from the second elder. Anyway, it's time for them to head out. They're supposed to leave when the carriage is ready, so the boy inquires Manhwa about the update. The maid explains that they're looking after Seola, which worries the young master who wonders if she ended up making more trouble. But apparently they were actually busy prepping her in a tidy and presentable outfit. Looking at her in this elegant attire, it even causes Yang Chon to find himself flustered against the girl's pure smile. She walks up to him like a beaming child and expresses how the other maids were praising her beauty. But that compliment is actually true because even Yang Chon finds himself weak against her cuteness. The girl musters up the courage to directly ask him if she looks beautiful. And yup, that alone is enough to make the little master embarrassed beyond hell. He's so flustered that he avoids her and completely switches topics. In the next scene, we get to see the carriage moving at tremendous speeds, giving Seola a joyful ride. It's actually her first time experiencing a carriage ride like this, so she's quite excited. As for Muyan, he tells the young master that the council is being held in the commercial district of Cheonil, known for being the most famous district in their territory. Since it's a long journey of 4 hours, it's going to take a while, so Yang Cheon thinks it might be a wise idea to take a nap. But the annoying and beaming child behind him is talking so loud that he just can't. Yang Chon shoves a yakwa snack in her mouth and tells her to shut up for a while. This actually shuts her up to the point he can drift off into sleep. But his sleep doesn't matter at all, because he wakes up a second later and realizes that 4 hours have already passed and that they've arrived. Yang Cheon exits the carriage and finds the crowded district charming with beautiful lights to commemorate the important festival. He stretches for a bit and runs into Isil Cheon, the officer of the district who has been eager to meet the young master. Yang Chon introduces himself properly and expresses his honor to meet such an important person. He learns that it's thanks to the boy's sister and the second leader that they were able to pass the first day with ease. But just the mention of Yeonsu is enough to remind him of her shitty attitude. He's hoping to God that they don't run into each other. Well, God apparently doesn't like him because bro literally finds her in the very next scene. Like always, she gives him the look of disgust, offended that he even bothered to greet her. Yeonsu mouths off about how annoying her little brother will be during the festival, recommending that he behave himself. But just like last time, instead of getting offended, he casually responds that he'll just stay in his room. This comes across as a bitch slap to his attention-seeking brat of a sister. Suddenly, her attention turns to the girl hiding behind her brother. Yeonsu disgustingly accuses her brother of engaging in the act of lovemaking at a place like this. She goes away sharing her lament for the pervert who doesn't know how to control himself. When the door slams shut, Yang Chon questions what in the actual fudge is wrong with his psychotic sister. He even apologizes to Officer Cheon for witnessing such a scene. But instead of going to his room, the young master prefers to make an urgent stop elsewhere first. Tagging Seola along, they decide to visit the main arena, which is enormous and decorative in its size. The 5 sword squads were applauded on the first day, and tomorrow will come the selection of new members. It's a good thing that the main family members don't have to compete. Yang Chon thinks he's going to live a chill life until the second elder pops out of nowhere. It's the whole, he's right behind me, isn't he? meme because bro's day is about to be ruined. Striking him like thunder from the skies, the second elder is proud of the boy for actually showing up to the festival. Seeing his palm reaching out for his face, Young-chun is terrified that he might get his ass beat, but to his surprise, the older man simply pats him and asks what influenced the boy's decision to actually show up. After all, Young-chun made his life's goal to escape the second elder every time. When the little boy tells him that he received word of the second elder getting pissed, he pretends like he never even said something so horrific. The old man in particular is known for being obsessed with the boy, because he's really the only son of the household. Seola, on the other hand, is so excited to meet him, expressing her joy. But goddamn, he looks at her like a demon of death, turning her expression to fear and sadness. She's so adorable and winces away, hiding behind Yang-chun, who tells the geezer to lighten up instead of glaring at people. The old man does in fact lighten up and asks if Seola's his lover. But Yang-chun clarifies that her attire should confirm to anyone that she's just a servant. She goes away into hiding while the second elder recommends that the child get some sleep for the night. Before leaving, he casually tells Yang-chun that he's going to take his life if he tries to run away from the festival. Yeah, either he really loves him or really hates him, I can't tell. Anyway, Seola keeps calling him the Bear Man, and I'm inspired by her, so that will be his new name from now on. Interestingly, Bear Man concludes that there's something different about the kid this time. Fast forwarding to the second day of the festival, Yang-chun is already here early in the morning, but at the back of a long-ass queue. Because the requirements are flexible enough for anyone to participate, there's way too many people lining up to join the sword squads. It's an honorable thing to become a part of the sword squad after all. Suddenly, Seola's body shivers with fear because she thinks the bear grandpa will hunt her down. She even cutely suggests that they ask the bear to hibernate for a while, which is hilarious. Anyway, our boy doesn't know what's keeping her afraid. Unfortunately, he can't order her around as much because she's the grandchild of the sovereign sword himself. He promises Seola that Muyan will take care of any threats if she's afraid. The personal guard has no idea what the term bear grandpa even means until our boy expresses that it's the second elder they're referring to. Unfortunately, the duty is too much for a personal guard like Muyan, so they conclude that maybe it's best to sacrifice Seola. The funny thing is that she actually takes this order to heart and concludes that today is her funeral day, and that she will sacrifice her life for everyone's happiness. The heartwarming portrayal of her past self is enjoyable. Yang-chun reminds her repeatedly that he was just joking, but turns out Seola just wants him to buy her a bunch of dumplings to die happily, so he lets her do whatever she wants. While she's away, Muyan shares how the young master is offering preferential treatment to Seola, despite her being a casual servant. Of course, it's because he still thinks of her as the Seola from his original life. Though he acts like he doesn't care about her, Muyan is smart and points out how the young master still gave her part of his own money for the dumplings. Unable to argue against him, the young master simply turns away. Muyan is actually pretty happy to discover that the boy is different from the way the rumors portrayed him, while Yang-chun advises him not to have a change of heart over a bunch of damn dumplings of all things. Also, he catches Muyan in his point that he judged the young master for a few rumors. It's only been 2 weeks since he's been assigned as his personal guard. The only reason he said something like this is because Yang-chun freshly received him as his guard right as he regressed into his past life. Their conversation is disrupted by a loud woman calling out to a lady, recommending that she doesn't wander all on her own. The girl expresses that she's fine on her own as there are plenty of great people from the House of Ku around her. The voice of these girls sounds similar to Yang Cheon, putting him in a state of reflection. Yobi, the mysterious girl's servant, argues that it's troublesome if she runs into the young master of the Ku family. Then again, there were plenty of boys in their family, so she could be referring to anyone according to Yang Chun. Even the girl thinks it's impossible to meet him in a crowd like this. But even Yang Chun has a self-aware fourth wall-breaking moment, believing that this is some kind of foreshadowing. The girl turns back, only to become startled to find the astonished young master before her eyes. Muyan whispers in his ear, explaining that the situation is probably awkward based on their reaction, so he's wondering if he knows these people. But of course, seeing her face, Yang Chun simply couldn't forget the girl who had obsidian eyes with a ring on her finger with an ambiguous pattern. Though no one knows about the symbol on the ring, he knows that it belongs to the Habuk's House of Peng region. This very same woman is revealed to be his ex-fiancée. Let's talk about how the engagement happened between these two belonging to the great houses. They were mainly of a similar age, and the House of Peng suspected that the young boy would one day become the clan head. That's why they entrusted their daughter in an engagement with him. As obvious as it could get, this guy ended up causing a shit ton of problems, and because of his stagnating reputation as the troublemaker, the House of Peng became afraid, and the engagement eventually broke up because of his final words to her. Immediately, she questions why he's here, but Yang Chun cuts her off and asks the same. She tells him that it's because of some urgent business. and that she isn't required to explain her intentions in the Sanseo region because of his family. He treats her coldly, which pisses her off as she reminds him of their age difference of 1 year. So he decides to adopt immediate manners and refers to her properly. He turns his attention to Seola and expresses that they should leave with the dumplings. Meanwhile, this adorable little monster acquired a crap ton of dumplings and is happy to leave. With his parting words, he tells his ex-fiancée to enjoy her time here, which comes across as a shock to her. She regrets having run into him of all people, and takes a note of the servant next to him. She's a bit annoyed that he's already found himself a pretty servant, and internalized that he's still the same damn pervert. Going back to his fateful words from the day their engagement broke off, Yang Chun called her nothing more than a spoiled daughter of a mistress, basically insulting her mother and causing her to get so enraged that she was about to beat the hell out of him. But Yang Chun apparently had balls of steel as he doubled down instead of retracting his statement. So bro ended up eating a Mike Tyson hook from a girl, which is well deserved. She was done with his attitude even after the strategic engagement because of her house. Yobi was there to stop the girl, but she swatted her hand away, stomping her foot next to his face, and was more than ready to kill Yang Chun's ass. Yeah, that was one hell of a day from her memory. Even now, she's trying to convince herself that he's the same, but this kid is actually helping his servant out with the dumplings. It's as if something is different about him now, though she chalks it off as just an unusual day for him, believing that a clown like him could never become mature. Still, a thought lingers in her mind that maybe he did change. Suddenly, they hear another loud voice roaring in the distance. Apparently, some guy is pissed off, talking about how the recruiters are going to be responsible for his arrest. It's a vague remark that leaves everyone dead silent. While those people are arguing, the young master recommends they help out with the situation because he senses that some people are stirring trouble. Muyan emphasizes that they shouldn't really act unless reason compels them to. In the end, they decide to let the guy be handled by the recruiters who will take care of the troublesome fellow. That actually does happen. But the difference is, this guy literally slams the recruiter into the ground, believing that it should be enough to prove his worth to join the competition. Of course, because of his harsh way of handling things, he is forbidden from entering. Muyan suggests they step in, while Seola is entertained by the cool thing that just happened. The personal guard is very surprised at the young master's dismissal of the situation. Yang Chun argues that he just doesn't want to get involved with troublesome affairs. The situation gets even more tense as the recruiters stand justified in their unchanging decision. Since the man before them isn't revealing his identity, they can't allow him to enter, even after he's proven his skills. Getting seriously annoyed, he finally reveals his identity as the heir of House Peng, meaning this dude is actually Yang Chun's ex-brother-in-law. This announcement grabs the attention of both of them, shocked to see him entering the competition. Let's go back in time and see what led up to this. One day, the girl found her brother awoke early in the morning. She didn't know why he was here. Meanwhile, he was having the time of his life eating food and getting warm after starting a fire. His sister didn't give a damn about what he was doing and only cared about the nameplate he's holding in his hand. He joked around that he was going to use it as a replacement for firewood and immediately got smacked with a stone. His sister was done with his shenanigans. She gives us a little fun fact about her brother. He actually graduated as the youngest heir of the house in the history of House Peng. The nameplate is special because he received it directly from his lord. While she keeps on trying to maintain the serious topic, her bro is still joking around about the firewood and receives a beating from his sister. She emphasizes the duties of the heir of the house, and her words sadden his expression. It's almost like he doesn't want to shoulder such a burden. His sister takes note of this and remarks how he's a prodigy who has earned the best achievements in his life, and yet, he still seems unhappy. Letting out a nervous laugh, he corrects her, stating his intentions of leaving the house for a while. Instead of pushing him around, she recommends that he enjoy himself on a walk then. The suggestion lights up an idea inside his little head, but in a way that his sister never could have anticipated. 4 damn months passed since that moment, and all she got from him was a note saying he'll be gone for a bit. She was pissed and complained to Yobi, who actually reported that the Vagrant clan might have a clue on his location. She was dying to hear where her brother had gone, but the region of Sanseo never made sense to her. Well, until now, that is. She's just run into that same troublemaker who was rattling his mouth off to join the 9-dragon competition no matter what. Bro was beefing with the recruiters and explained that he didn't have time to spare. The commotion drew the attention of our boy and the guard. Both of them heard him yapping about the Black Knight Blade, which is a technique of House Peng. Our boy figured the situation would only get worse from here on out, so he sought to scatter away. But of course, Grandpa Bear had to rain down on his moment at the worst possible timing and grabbed the boy's face. He personally found the troublemaker impressive because of his connection to the Peng family and allowed the boy to join. It is only then Wu Jin Peng makes his official introduction, expressing his great honor to meet the second elder of the House of Ku. Grandpa over here laughs his face off and because Wu Jin kissed his ass just now, he's even more prepared to let the boy join the competition now. Even though the recruiters are strictly against the decision because of the boy's identity, the second elder believes that Wu Jin must be telling the truth because the boy takes after his father's looks. Apart from that, the ring he's wearing is yet another proof. I have to point out that Yang Chun is pretty surprised because he didn't know it was Wu Jin either. Anyway, Grandpa Bear expresses that the purpose of the competition is to allow people to join the great squads, so he's curious why the heir of House Peng is here of all places. Wu Jin confidently reveals that he doesn't really enjoy his time back at his house, a reason that makes the second elder break into laughter, while at the same time causing Yang Chun to think they're both retarded. Wu Jin casually shares that he ran from his house because he loves rebelling against the rules. Yet another reason for the geezer over here to crack into laughter. Okay, the really intriguing part is that Wu Jin is a whopping 23 years of age, because I could have sworn he was a teenager if they didn't point that out. The second elder is impressed by the product of House Ping, and gives a disgusting glance to Yang Chun for being pathetically weak in comparison. Both Muyon and Seola probe Yang Chun for clarification, and he can't do anything but tell them to shut up while silently suffering. Well, on second thought, Yang Chun reflects that he isn't offended or jealous by the remark, because the heir of House Ping truly can be considered a dragon. After all, this same boy would be known as the Heavenly Blade in the future. Drawing a connection from him, Yang Chun suddenly remembers that he did meet Wu Jin's sister earlier. Speaking of her, Ah Peng comes rushing to find her brother. You might think this is going to be a sentimental moment, but no. She straight up chucks a damn fist in his face and launches the dude into the ground. Ah is seriously pissed that he ran the hell away right after becoming the heir to their house. With his face caved in, Wu Jin tries his best for a timeout, but his sister is in her John Wick mode and barely spares him a second before beating the ever-living crap out of him. While beating him up, she talks about how disgraceful he is for ditching his own house just to join a competition for the House of Ku. Bro is legit getting pummeled and begs to be saved like a damsel in distress. Ahee's beaten him so badly that his blood is all over her, but the elder's done watching and demands that she stop immediately. Seeing him, she gets startled and apologizes before clarifying the situation and apologizing for the troubles caused. Ahee promises to make it up to the House of Ku with additional reimbursements in the future and commands that they'll be leaving now. But her stubborn brother is firm on his decision that he'll stay, causing her to question if he's looking for yet another beatdown. But this time, Wu Jin is serious as hell, to the point that it creeps out even Ahee. She doesn't know why he's acting like this, or what's gotten into him, but the boy is clear in his decision, believing that the House of Peng isn't even remotely fun. He thinks anything is better than the life he used to live. Gently advising him, Ahee reminds the boy that he's supposed to be the heir now she has got to move on with this kind of thing. But Wu Jin believes that it's his right to have as much fun as he can before eventually accepting his duties as the head of the house. Escaping the duty will require him losing his limbs or simply dying, and since he's not a fan of either, he's found a third way out. Wu Jin openly declares that he despised the concept of being the head of the family, further adding that the people of House Ping can't even be called human because of their methods. Knowing that he's the only one who has to play the part of the heir, he's accepted the title for his sister's sake too. As for our boy, Yang Chun is questioning Bear Grandpa's decision to let Wu Jin participate, especially since this matter is beyond the scale of the competition and concerns the other houses. Of course, even the second elder believes that there can't be an easy way out for this one. So he calls out to Wu Jin with a sweeping recommendation of fighting him in a one-on-one battle. If Wu Jin manages to beat Grandpa Bear over here, he can join. But of course, this is just an impossible task. Even Ahee thinks he's terrible with his jokes. But the old man is firm on his words and believes 10 hits should be more than enough to decide the winner. As for Wu Jin, he's got those young and determined eyes. The second elder has no thoughts of going back on his words. The second elder is in the middle of explaining the win condition for Wu Jin, stating that even a single contact with his body will conclude the young man as the victor, when suddenly the young heir of House Peng dashes right behind him with immense speed. Grandpa Bear over here is standing nonchalant, while Wu Jin is about to chidori his ass from above. But the tables are instantly turned when Wu Jin literally faces a goddamn monstrous reaction from the old geezer as he unleashes his punch. Yup, he's definitely dead. In the next scene, we fast forward to the competition arena, where the battle between Yang Chun and his sister Yeon Su is fixed. Of course, his two-faced sister appears blooming and cute in front of others. Meanwhile, our boy is out here questioning why the hell he's here at all, not to mention his fight against his sister. Anyway, let's rewind a little bit and see what happened to Wu Jin. Just like I said, the kid got demolished by Gramps and was launched into the ground like a tornado with a heavy crash. The fight was decided in the first damn hit, and this geezer suddenly turned from a murder machine to a fun-loving grandpa again. Yang Chun, on the other hand, is questioning why the hell this madman went so far when he could have easily evaded the strike. Bear Grandpa emphasizes that he held back massively even with the punch that knocked the wind out of Wu Jin. Yang Chun is seriously afraid of House Peng's wrath if they come to learn of this information. But the boomer does not care at all. Our boy even tries to console Ahi, but she thinks her brother deserved that punch. The girl analyzes that this was perhaps the only way to teach the young heir a lesson in humility. Though that sounds logical, the second elder quickly denies such claims, clarifying that he only offered a spar because he wanted to have some fun. Hearing that kind of reckless bullshit coming from his mouth, Yang Chun even proposes to his servant that it's a good idea for them to ditch the geezer. Contrasting his reaction, Seola is out here animated like hell, like she just saw some kind of movie scene take place before her eyes. Her current state makes our boy wondering how the hell this same girl ended up becoming the most terrifying warrior in existence. The second elder has quickly become a fan of Seola for praising him. He even shares a little snack with the dessert-loving girl, who suddenly switches her attitude and has grown fond of Bear Grandpa. Seeing as though Yang Chun must be feeling left out, the second elder thinks it's best to give him a gift as well, revealing that he's going to make our boy spar against someone at the end of the competition. And well, what do you know? That's how we got into this shitty spot in the first place. Yang Chun has to face his sister, and she's rather shocked that he's choosing not to use his sword. It makes the boy surprised too, making him wonder if he used a weapon at this age. The good thing about the art of the 9-flame blaze wheel technique is that it can help reinforce various different weapons. However, typically it is used on swords for maximum effectiveness. The issue here is, Yang Chun has no idea how to use a sword as he transitioned to a fighting style with his bare hands later in life. Bro really just said these hands are rated E for everyone. Yeonsu confesses that she couldn't give two shits whether or not he used a weapon in this case, and her arrogant personality helps his cover. The girl is most grateful about one thing and one thing alone. She's landed a golden opportunity after all, allowing herself the chance to beat him black and blue without getting in trouble for it. It's even better that his humiliation will be witnessed in front of the rest of the world. This bitch is seriously crazy, but Yang Chun is genuinely nervous for the fight too. Going back to his conversation with the second elder, he was offended by the mere suggestion of him partaking in a fight against his sister. Bear Grandpa found himself dropping dead in despair, believing the competition would be way too boring otherwise. Yang Chun could sense that this old imbecile only wanted entertainment out of him. The dude even had a nice strategy to forfeit the match as soon as it started. But the second elder literally read his mind and gestured the boy towards Wu Jin's unconscious body, which is a short way of saying, "I'll beat your ass up just like that if you surrender." Yang Chun really couldn't digest the fact that he was going to get defeated in front of a massive crowd. But the old man actually shared a different opinion, questioning if the boy had already made up his mind to lose. His words circle Yang Chun's mind. The new life he has been promised is far too precious for him to just let it go to waste like that. It's the reason he doesn't want to fight his sister to prevent complications. While he's in the middle of his contemplation, Yeonsu calls out to him, roaring out her resentment for her brother for being chosen as the heir of the house simply because he was born a male. The fight begins, and this girl goes ballistic on him, unleashing a rapid slash that he manages to evade. Yeonsu goes for a second slash that our boy ducks without any problems. Her combo hasn't quite finished as she goes for a horizontal slash next, causing him to draw back and duck again. A haunting realization strikes Yeonsu. Her brother was dodging her slashes even though he was only on the second ring. Yang Chun on the other hand reflects that he's barely being able to dodge each hit, but it's starting to take a toll on his body, directly proving that he needs more training. But he hasn't yet decided how he should treat this battle. One way could be for him to take a direct hit and pretend to be knocked out. At the same time, with the way she's attacking him, bro is not going to be pretending at all. He thinks he's genuinely going to be put out of commission. Before he can even chart a battle plan, his sister goes on the offensive again, grabbing his uniform to make sure he stays in place as she launches another sword slash. But he dodges that too and quickly undoes his top, causing Yeonsu to slice it down. The boy taunts his sister for having so much bloodlust against him that her attacks are predictable. He recommends they stop the battle, questioning how much she despised him. Even though they weren't even using real swords, she tore his shirt in half with such power. Yeonsu replies that she had to accept the horrid reality that she would never become the heir simply because of the system, even though she trained and gave her life to the cause. And yet, the boy who does nothing and lives like a heap of garbage is easily handed the position because he's a son. That's why she hates him so much and believes that their positions are unfair. Yeonsu takes it a step further by imbuing her weapon with internal energy, raising the stakes of the fight. With her current level, Yang Chun is astonished to discover that his sister has already evolved past the third ring. The onslaught of attacks continues as she does her absolute best to nail him down with at least one attack. She even calls him a coward and a useless clown who does nothing but dodge because that's all he can ever do. That he's talentless, and someone who isn't even determined. She thinks that if her brother is going to continue this lifestyle, then it may as well be fate to get rid of him. Interestingly, the boy quietly listens to her complaints, and in the next attack, we can even see a look of sadness on the girl's face. Youngcheon stands fearless and does nothing, hearing Yeonsu's cruel words for his mother too. The conclusion is intriguing, as he actually manages to stop the attack by catching her wrist, returning a demonic glare as Yangcheon questions what rubbish came out of his sister's mouth. Following a monologue of the girl, Jeonsu openly admits that she holds her big sister in high regards. She was given the title of the Searing Blade at the mere age of 15 and was exceptional by the age of 20. Because of her raw talent and effort alone, she eventually became the leader of the 5 swords of the House of Ku. A woman who was acknowledged by everyone with no equal, but even with everything at her disposal, she couldn't be granted the title of the head of the house. That was a privilege reserved for the little boy Yang Chon-ku, someone born from a mistress and the only known successor. Initially, Jeonsu really fancied her brother, and though they shared different mothers, Yangcheon's mom showed kindness to both. In a way, Jeonsu also loved her back, which is why she didn't feel threatened or disgusted by the boy at the time. That's when it happened. One day, the woman was nowhere to be found. All gone, abandoning the 2 children. The head of the clan, their father, strictly ordered everyone not to look for her. That's why it became a hopeless endeavor to even try. This was actually around the same period of time where the boy became crueler to everyone. He didn't form connections with anyone in the clan until the rumors of his mysterious acts with women began circling around. However, despite what led to this change in events, one fact remained supreme. Yangcheon would still be given the position of the head of the house. That's not his fault, it's the system of men inheriting titles. And it's not like Jeonsu could ever hope for that to change. She was nothing compared to the ever-blazing talent of her older sister, which sprouted a deep resentment inside the girl's heart. She began detesting him for being someone who couldn't even make use of his abilities. Let's go back to the present scene, where upon the mention of his mother, Yangcheon gives his sister a fearsome glare, instilling so much fear inside her that she retreats just to be safe. But that won't matter, because this man is now done playing around as he blitzes behind her, launching a punch right in her face. Witnessing the battle, Ah-hee is pretty impressed by Yangcheon's sister's talents despite sharing a similar age group. At the same time, she can notice the 2 siblings conversing with each other in the middle of their battle. Unfortunately, no one can hear them clearly, strictly because the second elder made it his personal business to coat the surrounding arena with his own internal energy. Or at least that's what Woo-jin says. Also, bro's got a swollen face coming out of that spar. I would not be showing my face publicly after that. Even Ah-hee makes fun of the clown for recklessly messing around. She doesn't want to leave for House Peng because they'll question what happened. Anyway, both of them discuss the greatness of Yeonsu, a girl who has already reached the 3rd ring and a blade talent that is quite capable. But here's the intriguing part. Woo-jin isn't even interested in the girl, he's actually impressed by her opponent. This surprises Ah-hee, while Yobi confirms the relationship between the 2 siblings. Based on the fight, Woo-jin is impressed that there's more than one talent among the House of Ku. Seeing his face experiencing such happiness, Ah-hee feels devastated that her brother won't ever feel the same after becoming the head of House Peng. Let's go back to the fight. Yeonsu realizes that she has no choice but to evade her brother's strike. She manages to dodge and returns with an intimidating final swing, believing that the fight is over as she's exploited his opening. But Yangcheon coldly talks her down. This is how you know you're about to get cooked. It's when your opponent is trash-talking you against your final attack. Yangcheon states that he understands his sister's position, so he doesn't really have a right to judge whether or not she hates him. Though he feels pissed off by her last comment, he shows maturity by disregarding it completely. However, Yangcheon hopes that she forgets what he's about to do next. Drawing his hand back and expending a burst of energy, he punches the crap out of Yeonsu with a solid hit, knocking her down and out completely. The fight is over, and to everyone's shock, the winner is the incompetent Yangcheon. Shortly after the fight ended, we can see the young boy regretting his decision about the way he handled that situation. He didn't want to win, and it's going to look bad that a 2nd ring was able to beat a 3rd ring fighter with a complete knockout. Yangcheon still feels haunted by his sister's words, and while he's sulking in despair, Muyan and his servant come through to check on his condition. Unfortunately, Muyan has come with some bad news for the boy. Everyone's talking about his grand victory when they clearly expected him to get dog-walked in that fight. That's why the 2nd elder purposefully had to step in to control the reaction of the crowd. The speech is still ongoing, which gives Yangcheon the opportunity to escape the damn place before Bear Grandpa gets to him. Seola worriedly points out that his hand is bleeding, but what it really means is that he failed to control his internal GI at the last moment. The adorable Seola tries to comfort him by bandaging it up, causing the boy to get flustered. But unfortunately, the poor girl doesn't even know how to wrap it properly. She weeps while gently holding his hand, apologizing for how useless she is. The scene melted my heart, and it puts Yang Chon in a pause, until Wu Jin cock-blocks their moment with a sudden entrance. Anyway, Yang Chon greets him properly still, even though Ah-hee is out here embarrassed like crap and insists on going home. But this dude is so chill. I love him because he's treating Yang Chon like a homeboy even though Ah-hee's engagement broke off with him. He even recommends the two of them together again. Our boy is a bit surprised and wonders why he's here at all. Wu Jin expresses that he just wants to connect and network with talented people. He also holds his older sister Hebe-ku in high regard, but was unaware of a hidden talent like Yang Chon. The boy is actually surprised that Wu Jin knows about his sister. The heir of House Peng reveals that they actually share a pretty close relationship, but he doesn't know how she thinks of him, basically contradicting himself. Yang Chon simply laughs it off, ignoring the ridiculousness. He sees Wu Jin going away with Yobi, but strangely his ex-fiancée is still here. She wants to break her silence, apologizing for hurting him with the chair. She's about to conclude something which I suspect would have been about a reconciliation, but Yang Chun cuts her off and shocks her by his own apology. He knows that he overstepped a boundary by saying stupid words about her mother, and it's only fair how she reacted. They're both in the clear, with Ah-hee accepting the situation and leaving him with a reminder to check what her brother left him with. Yang Chon inspects his uniform and discovers a little slab, not knowing what it means. The night ends with the two of them sharing a farewell. With this, Yang Chon is starting to mend the mistakes of his past life, but still there's so much more for him to correct. On their way back, Iola is knocked out like a log. Our boy is still gloomy about his duel against his sister. In his previous life, he never got the opportunity to do that. And of all the times he can think of, Yang Chon thinks he shouldn't have been able to win that fight. From his understanding, the future began manipulating the moment Siola began working under him. A small act of kindness could have possibly shifted the tide of the story he was supposed to follow. Still, he doesn't get why this is happening, and that he should be careful about updating his plans. Suddenly, the boy senses something sharp, and immediately requests Muyan to check the demonic talisman. The personal guard is happy to inform his master that there's nothing to worry about, as the talisman is working just fine. But as Muyan is delivering that news, the talisman lights up, causing him to order an immediate stop. The fact that the talisman reacted strongly means that a demonic gate near them has just opened up. Muyan tells all his men to prioritize the safety of the young master. However, to his shock, the same young master is casually standing outside and stretching for the fight to come. Muyan scolds him, constantly reminding the boy of how dangerous this could get for him. Yang Chan tells him to concentrate on what's ahead of them. As if a crack in reality appeared itself, a green gate spirals open, releasing houndish beasts. The good thing about a green gate is that it's supposed to be the weakest level of the demons. Preparing his technique, Yang Chon goes on the offensive and annihilates the monsters without any sense of trouble. Now there is one thing to be noted about all demonic creatures. They possess a special stone inside their bodies, signifying their hearts. Think of these stones as a power core, and a weakness that can be exploited by simply pulling it out. One other demonic beast attempts to bite him from behind, but our boy is quick with his reflexes, and efficiently focuses on extracting the demonic stones. However, just having taken down two of them has inflicted a crazy amount of exhaustion on his internal energy, affecting his usage of the 9-flame blaze wheel technique. Still, it's not like he can stop just because he's tired, especially when 3 more of these ugly dogs were heading their way. But to his surprise, Muyan comes sweeping in to protect his young master, reacting with such unfathomable speed and unleashing a spree of slashes across the creatures' bodies. Virgil from Devil May Cry must have taught him his judgment cut end ability from the looks of it. Even Yang Chon is straight up speechless seeing his cool-ass servant knock it out of the park. Muyan turns to inquire about his condition, and he's glad that nothing serious happened. The fight's already finished, considering not a lot of the beasts came out from the other side. In a way, they got really lucky. But Muyan is seriously worried about our boy's decision to jump in so recklessly. It could have ended in a disaster. Yang Chon states that it's all fine in the end. Well, it's not exactly fine at all, as his hand begins to burn in a purple flame, giving him unimaginable amounts of pain. Even Muyan's got no idea what's happening to his young master. Yang Chan curses in frustration and fear, questioning why the hell the Heavenly Demon's martial art is activating all of a sudden. This technique of the Heavenly Demon is officially known as the Heavenly Absorption ability. Let's take a look at a cool flashback from the badass demon martial artist Yang Qian, who had single-handedly severed down an entire battalion of fighters. The broken warrior before him questioned why he was so merciless, and why he slaughtered them when he had no reason to. About to finish the guy off, Yang Qian questioned if those would be the man's last words. The man looked at the deceased elder's cut-off head and screamed in despair. A large shadow hovered over the skies, and from a scarlet gate emerged a gigantic dark dragon. The Heavenly Demon decided to descend from her dragon and walked up to the kneeling Yang Chun, stating that he could have put more effort into trying to amuse her. But having gained a slight sense of satisfaction, she decided to imbue him with a skill. And well, that leads us to the present, where much to the boy's shock, the same absorption technique is purified thanks to the effects of the 9-flame blaze wheel. The boy describes this unique process as a kind of a merging effect, something that never even happened in his past life. Anyway, Seola and Muyan are crazily worried for him as he finally gets back up, stating that he's fine. He thinks it's possible he might have sustained an unknown injury during the duel he had with his sister. Muyan wants to find an immediate doctor, but our boy insists that he's okay, especially considering the fact that he wants to hide his ability to consume demonic energy. Seola, on the other hand, is whining like a puppy, squishing his face and asking for confirmation as she finds his condition to be sad. Luckily, the other servant stops her cute meddling and pulls her away for Yangchun's sake. Once again, Muyan requests that they visit the doctor, but the young master believes it would be better if they just returned home and if he slept to cool off the exhaustion. While his men are gathering around and preparing again for the journey, the boy enters a contemplative state, noticing how he doesn't feel an ounce of demonic energy within him. This means that his family's generational technique must have done something. Interestingly, he also takes note that the color of the stone faded, which confirms the absorption of the demonic energy. Deciding not to dwell on the matter for too long, he crushes the stone within his grasp, believing that he should urgently work on his plans. The following morning, Seola's eye for sweet snacks is acting up again. But our boy actually ignores her pleading request and betrays her from her expectations. Yangchun reminds the girl that she was the one who keeps tagging along for no reason at all. Anyway, Muyan is pretty curious why they've come out here of all places, especially since the boy is still in the process of recovering from what happened, so it doesn't make sense why he's out in the marketplace when he should be resting. The considerate Muyan even offers to help him if he's looking for something. Though the young master appreciates his consideration, Yangchun concludes that he doesn't want any help right now. He notices a specific street and scans the alley, confusing Muyan a bit more. First, Yangchun requests the girl to retreat back home, and then tasks Muyan to follow him. He wants Seola to be the messenger to his house, stating that he'll be back by dinner. The young girl is worried that her grandpa will scold her, so Yangchun plays with her greed and offers to buy her 10 yakwa snacks for completing this task. Suddenly, the girl is beaming with confidence and adds a condition of dumplings on top. Yangchun is more than happy with those terms, and the two of them shake on it like best friends. Anyway, back to the alley. Muyan is curious, but our boy doesn't feed him any answers yet. The personal guard is scanning his surroundings, believing that this place seems a bit dangerous to wander alone. But that's something even Yangchun knows about. It seems that he's found what he was looking for at last. At first he was worried he wouldn't be able to find it. Muyan is curious why the building is of interest to the young master, and even states that his senses are telling him that something is wrong with the building. Yangchun commends him for having sharp instincts and opens the door, receiving annoyance from a bunch of crooks who think that the young boy must have lost his way. They also notice that the boy's guard is armed with a weapon, which means this is a good sign for them to kill these two. These thugs put Muyan on edge as he prepares his weapon. One of them questions why the boy came here of all places. Yangchun confidently reveals that he's simply a customer, but his arrogant tone makes the thug pissed off. He actually threatens Yangchun to the point that Muyan is ready to strike all of the bastards down. But the young master believes it's not the right time, and reveals that all of them knew who he was the very moment he stepped a foot inside the alley. Yangchun intriguingly asks if they're afraid of the House of Ku's wrath, but he's not here for that. Instead of trying to slice each other down, the boy offers a negotiation with the branch manager. The thug is actually shocked by the boy's audacity, and reveals that Yangchun doesn't even have the most basic of manners. But the cunning young master fires back, reminding the thugs that it's not like